Expedition 33 is one of my all-time favorite games, but it has the most useless skill damage descriptions, so I tested all skills myself to get actual numbers to work with. In this video I will cover Monoco's skill damage numbers with the biggest outliers as well as his mechanic and the strongest options for each mask. This should give you a better idea of how to assess his big selection of skills. You can find this Google Sheet with all the numbers in the description. So in this table, these skill damage multipliers are based on base attacks as a reference. So a skill with a 3.0 multiplier deals exactly as much damage as 3 base attacks. That's our benchmark basically. And this column contains that multiplier of skills without meeting any special conditions like mask upgrades. Here we have the numbers with the right mask. And in this damage max column, I have also included the other conditions like being low life or cultist slash, for example, or things like total burn damage. Now, when it comes to masks, they are a really big deal for your damage. For skills with a mask damage upgrade, the bonus is almost consistently a triple damage multiplier. The Almighty Mask skills even have a ×5 multiplier, being the special masks. But then we also have bigger outliers like the Gross Tiddywhack, getting less than double damage from a mask upgrade, which kind of makes it hot garbage. Like, it wouldn't even be good with a triple multiplier, so I don't really know what this is about. It's also described as a high damage skill. Needless to say, these in-game descriptions are fake as fuck. So yeah, a couple of inconsistencies when it comes to masks, but generally the multiplier is massive and that's how you will be getting your highest damage. So let's see how much damage we can actually get with skills meeting all conditions. In this column, damage max. So at the very top we have Lampmaster's Light. After stacking it up, it can get pretty crazy. The highest damage ability without setup is Creation Void with a massive ×43 multiplier. It is his highest cost ability, but I was still surprised to see it outdamage even the most expensive Almighty Mask abilities. So those are kind of useless when you can also just use Creation Void and get significantly higher damage, because Almighty Masks buff all abilities. I have also included the different Lampmaster's Light stages here. An interesting ability, it starts out with pretty terrible damage, which is why it made a pretty weak first impression on me in-game before I got these numbers. But on the second cast, it already triples its damage, and then it keeps increasing by the same amount up until the 5th use, at which point it's becoming ridiculous. But it already surpasses every other ability on the 3rd use, and even the second time you use it, it already matches up pretty well with the other top contenders. So definitely don't sleep on Lampmaster's Light despite its atrocious first cast. It's kind of hard to consistently get the mask multiplier being an Almighty Mask ability, but you can get the first cast out without the mask bonus when you don't have like a high damage alternative that turn, and then get a massive hit later once you do get the Almighty Mask. Now let us take a look at the best options for each mask. For heavy, I really like Portier Crash. It deals a reliable 17.5 in an area of effect, and it can actually AoE break, which is something you don't see often. It costs 8, but it is worth it. If you can reliably apply Powerless, Obscure Sword will get a double damage boost and end up dealing slightly more damage, but to a single target. Glaze Earthquake is also a hidden gem in all of this. Its ceiling isn't as high, but it has a 10 base without mask, which is higher than many abilities with the triple mask multiplier. It only costs 4, is AoE, and applies powerful, so it's actually a really good option even without a heavy mask. Like, just compare it to the Tiddywhack, less cost, more damage, and tagged as a lower damage ability. For the caster mask, Creation Void is the undisputed king. It's more than double damage compared to the highest heavy mask option. The gap is kind of crazy. If you don't have the 9 AP, I also like Brawler Bash for a cheap, decent damage break option. But you can also just go with the Glaze Earthquakes for comparable damage without the mask bonus, but you're not getting anything even close to Creation Void. It's in a completely different league. For balanced mask, the Sakapatat S-Stock is pretty dumb against stunned enemies, but it's not a reliable condition and it sucks without it, then Zeus Waltz is the highest damage option with a 50% damage bonus if you consistently apply burn, but not too impressive for conditional single targets with an 8 AP cost. Without burns, I would probably just go for Vendage, which is slightly less damage but cheaper and can break. Contortionist Blast for AoE isn't bad either, I guess, because it has a healing effect, but the options are not too impressive overall, and you could consider to just go for Earthquakes once again, or stack Lampmaster Slide for longer fights. With Almighty Masks, you can buff any ability, and unless you have stacked Lampmaster Slide, Creation Void will actually just be your best choice for Almighty Masks as well, with its crazy 43 damage multiplier. Agile Masks also aren't too impressive in my opinion. Cultist Slashes are great on low life, but underwhelming otherwise. The next best option I think is Chapelier Slash for AoE and it applies Mark. But honestly, I think the best Agile Mask ability is Glaze Earthquake. Once again, despite not being an Agile Mask skill, it has many upsides and higher damage off mask, although you're not getting weapon bonuses that only affect upgraded abilities. And one more 5-head argument for Earthquakes as an Agile Mask ability is it moves the Bestial Wheel by 6. So if you start at an Agile Mask and use Earthquakes, it moves the thingy to either Almighty or Caster for Creation Void. And because Earthquakes are cheap and buff you with Powerful, you can get Pictos like Energizing Powerful and shit to make sure you have enough AP to blow them up with a buffed Creation Void next turn. That's what I've been doing. Anyway, grab the Google Sheet, leave a like if it helps, and stick around for the other characters. Mayel will be next. Thanks.